With the second pick of the 2024 MLB Draft, the Cincinnati Reds select Chase Burns.
Is hammered down the left field line and way gone. A solo home run for Alfredo Duno. Collier swats one into left field, testing the line. That is down a base hit. Rogers is coming around third. He will score. To replace him at second is Cam Collier with a stand-up double.
Line it short, up in the air. Arroyo steals a base hit.
A swing and a fly ball down the left field line, hooking toward the corner. It is a fair ball, and it is gone. Home run re-signs.
Make it two! Trudeau jumps on the first pitch and lines it to right. Blue crosses the plate, and the Tortugas will not say die tonight.
Lewis takes inside, throw to second, is on a hop, and it is not in time. And there is stolen base number 50 for Kyle Henley.
There's a swing and a fly ball into center. Dunn going back on the warning track, leaps at the wall, makes the catch. Dunn hauled it in. Ball game over.
Swing, here's a well-hit ball to right field. Moving back to the wall. Campbell, that ball is gone! This game is tied!
That's airborne into the gap, into right field. Diving forward and making the catch is Hendrick.
Ian Fu with a skyscraping blast out to right. Daytona is on the board.
There's a swing and a fly ball to left. Rodriguez turns around. It's gone just over the wall into the seats. Home run, Sal Stewart. Kind of a high liner. It got out of here in a hurry. Fly ball center field. Jorge over. Jorge there. And it is caught. Campanon cut and run and caught the ball. Put this game in the win column. Put this winning streak at 14. It's a new club record.
Righty sends. Hendrick signs. Drives it out into right field. That's going to be the ball game. Look out, Slade. Look out, Slade. Hendrick comes through. What a play. What a bat for Hendrick, the fans, and the Chattanooga Lookouts.
Welcome to Minor League Mondays, the Cincinnati Reds Minor League podcast. I am Roger Strauss. That is Reds on SI writer Ricky Logan checking in. It is Minor League Monday after a full week of all four Reds affiliates that participate in this organization, and we're really excited to cover all the teams going forward because now they're going to have another 6 full games, hopefully without any rainouts or anything like that. This coming week, a home opener for the Dayton Dragons. It's going to be a big week for a lot of our guys in the prospect level. Happy Easter Monday as well. And before we get going, Ricky, how was your weekend? How was your Easter?
It's pretty well. Kids got to do an Easter egg hunt, did a little hanging out, had a little, turkey and ham yesterday, did a little, pseudo Thanksgiving dinner for Easter. We normally don't do something like that. So it was pretty cool. What about you?
It was great. Relaxing. It was nice to listen to the radio, to hear the Reds sweep, the Major League team sweep the Rangers on Easter. And as far as my research goes, they're 3-0 in their last 3 Easters. So must be something about it. And, some sort of divine power going on for the Reds.
He is risen.
On Easter Sunday. The Reds have risen as well on Easter Sunday, but that's neither here nor there. We're talking about minor leagues today, but before we go any further, we want to shout out, we have a new sponsor for this podcast for Red Hot Reds, and it is Frost Buddy. Frost Buddy, which is a drink holder container that does everything cold, hot beverages. It has also a 10-in-1 type of setting where you can adjust it with different little pieces to make it fit for whatever drink that you're trying to drink, whether it's a small canister, regular size, or extra large or what have you. And I think Ricky has already purchased some if you want to speak on Frost Buddy.
Yeah, Frost Buddy is a 10-in-1 universal can koozie. I got mine here. I got Cincinnati Reds. They have licensed products. You can get your favorite college. You can get your favorite NFL team, MLB team. Or if you want something generic, they got something like this too. You can get this one's called Rogue. And if you don't want to use a can holder, you can make it a tumbler. So that's pretty cool. It holds any kind of can, any kind of bottle. I'll show you a quick little demonstration. It holds slim cans. Not a problem. Doesn't move. Hold your normal cans. Got a Pepsi. Not a problem. And this one is called the Universal XL, so it holds even bigger cans. So you can get your peace teas, your 24-ounce cans. You can get your 16-ounce bottles, whatever you want to drink. It'll hold it. So yeah, Frost Buddy, thanks. Huge shout out to them for climbing aboard with us and helping us with our journey. And they're a relatively small, like, self-made business. The guy made the design in college and he's constantly working on it all the time. So yeah, Frost Buddy. We'll have a link in the description you can use to get yours. And yeah, thanks again to Frost Buddy.
Yeah, shout out Frost Buddy. Like Ricky said, link in the description. Also, now that it's baseball season, now that it's getting warmer, perfect for your perfect favorite beverage, whatever it may be. We don't judge, but sitting and watching your Red Legs or listening to your Red Legs on the radio, I like to do, is definitely something I'm looking forward to do with Frost Buddy. So we will be promoting their stuff, maybe even putting some ads out there. So check them out, support them. Supporting them supports us. So we're really appreciative of that. And yeah, speaking of baseball, we're talking about baseball. All 4 of our affiliates were in action. Some of them played more games than others. The Daytona and Dayton team started on the 2nd, and then Chattanooga had a 3-game series that started on Good Friday, and they played on Saturday and Easter Sunday. And also, our Louisville Bats played 6 games against the hated Iowa Cubs, the Chicago Cubs AAA team. But we'll start with our Daytona Tortugas, the low A team for us, a team that we think has a lot of potential with a lot of different players in there. They didn't have the best week from my estimation. They went 1-2 in the week to the Hammerheads. There were some outstanding performances. I'll just shout out a couple. Like Tyson Lewis went 3 for 12 with 2 runs scored, a home run, and 2 RBIs. And then also for the pitching side, I think Jake Brink, 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, I believe, in the opening day win for the Tortugas. So they had some highlights, some good things. They definitely they got some guys that struggled a bit. Like Mason Neville kind of comes to mind for me. Jacob Friend, I forgot. Shout out Jacob Friend. He also had a pretty good outing on the win on Thursday for the opening day. A home run and 2 stolen bases. Ricky, where do you want to start with the Daytona Tortugas?
Yeah, we can start with Saturday. They get absolutely manhandled 14-1. Ovis Portez gets credited with the loss. It's early and they have a lot of talent on this team. Kyle Henley went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Tyson Lewis 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Lantigua 2 for 4 with a strikeout. Cade Hunter 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts and a walk. Lots of strikeouts in Saturday's loss, 18 altogether with just 5 walks. Just a brutal outing, but it was cool to see Tyson Lewis get going with the home run that he hit. Just kind of just getting going. So it's excited to see him going.
Yeah, for sure. And they got that opening day win, and they played like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and took Easter Sunday off. Not sure if that's just a scheduling thing or what have you. So that was kind of interesting the way they set up that series at least. Also, I wanted to point out Arnaldo Lantigua, a guy that we really liked as well, had a decent 3 games, 3 for 11 and an RBI, but not necessarily as effective as Jacob Friend was and Tyson Lewis this series. And like you said, aside from the Thursday win, they didn't have much going on Friday and Saturday. So not necessarily the greatest outing for the Tortugas. They will start on Tuesday again. I believe they're on the road this time for 6 games against their opponent. I should have wrote down, but now I'm going to look up.
I'll pull it up.
Yeah. So but they'll start tomorrow, Tuesday, on the road.
Lakeland.
Against Lakeland, Florida. I think that's the Tigers affiliate, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it could have been better for sure, especially losing on Saturday 14-1, and Portes kind of going out there. It was kind of a little bit of a theme to have our pitching in the minors get rocked a bit at times. We didn't have a tremendous performance pitching wise, but that we'll get to that with the other affiliates. But yeah, like I said, the one that really stood out for me was Jake Brink. The opening day, he kind of went 5 innings to complete the game. I don't believe he got the win because I think they were already ahead by the time that he came in the game, but he shut it down for 5 innings to finish it off for your Daytona Tortugas.
I think he did get credited with the win.
All right. There you go. Well,
And the unfortunate news from that game was Nick Lodolo getting the opening day start for a rehab assignment, and then 2 2/3 perfect innings, 4 strikeouts, and has to leave the game early with another blister issue. Not the major league show, but it is unfortunate that you have a rehab assignment and it just gets cut short due to another flare up.
Yeah, definitely. And they were they're kind of hoping that this would be basically his one rehab, and then he was supposed to join the team, I believe, in Miami this week, right?
Yeah.
So like having the rehab start happen in Daytona at Jackie Robinson Park on April 2nd for the home opener for the Tortugas. The thought process was, hey, yeah, he'll get his 4 or 5, whatever they were looking to get out of him, and then he'd be pitching sometime in the Miami series, which I don't think that's the case anymore.
Yeah, and it seems like he's going to be out for a while. I know they keep saying that it looks good, he's throwing and everything, but if you can't throw a ball with seams, it just doesn't seem like he's going to be ready to go. Like, he can throw a pyro ball all he wants and he can do all the other stuff, but when it comes down to throwing a baseball, it just seems like he can't do it physically, and it's unfortunate because he's such a good talent.
Yeah, and definitely losing Hunter. Again, not a major league show, but just losing Hunter and then losing him forces everybody kind of up in the depth chart, if you will. So now Williamson's now dependent on every single 5 days. Rhett Lauder, Chase Burns. And that means that our minor league guys in AAA are that much closer. And we'll get to those guys when we get to Louisville in a couple segments. But any other thoughts about our Tortugas before we're moving on?
I guess just quickly, we could shout out Kyle Henley in the opening game went 1 for 3 with a walk and a stolen base. Ichiro Kano had a I think did he have a hit all series? I don't know if he did, but just overall his talent in general, he's gonna click. We're just 1 series in, but Kyle Henley getting that stolen base. I was kind of surprised to see him in Daytona again. But there's just so much new outfield talent that it's kind of difficult. I mean, we're seeing Austin Hendrick in Double-A again. Yeah,
and he's performing pretty decent just to start the season, but we'll get into him when we get to Chattanooga. I did want to point out Bernard Moon had a home run on the Thursday game in that victory as well. So it seemed like, at least for me, for Daytona, they played really well in the opener. Despite Lodolo's blister issues, but then the other 2 games kind of fell really flat. And their offense, if it's not coming from Tyson, if it's not coming from Kyle Henley, Bernard Moon, Lantigua, it may be a little bit surprised Jacob Friend, the catcher, maybe a little bit, every so often. It might be kind of tough sledding, as they say, for the offense.
Catchers is going to be a theme throughout this show, I think.
Yeah.
A little foreshadowing.
First, well, let's get into it. We know a couple catchers that play for our Dayton Dragons, or at least my hotel team, just 30 minutes outside of where I'm at. And our big guy, the number 2 prospect, it came out with a bang for Dayton. They only played 2 games. They had a weird kind of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, no Easter Sunday schedule, but unfortunately the Saturday game got rained out. Not because it was actively raining. It's because it must have rained overnight and the fields were too wet. They didn't dry out in time to play on Saturday, so they just postponed it for another day. But on the Thursday game, as Ricky was alluding to, our catchers came out swinging. We had Duneau start at catcher, but McChrystal was the DH for that game for Dayton, and they were down. That was the big thing. Also, a couple themes for our affiliates this week, Chattanooga especially, and a little bit of Louisville, is like coming back from a deficit. I think they were down 6-2 on the opening day game for our Dayton Dragons, and they ended up powering back to win 8-7, fueled by Duno, McChrystal, and company. What were your first thoughts?
Yeah, they scored 7 runs in the 4th inning. Smith Pineda hit a home run on Thursday. That was kind of cool. And Kian Vu skipping, he played 18 games in Daytona last year, and he gets promoted to Dayton, and he gets leadoff. That's really cool to see for him. He goes 1 for 4 in his high A debut. Carlos Sanchez goes 2 for 5. But yeah, I mean, Duno just you saw him in person. He's just such a large man, a kid, really, I guess, but just a large human being. He goes 2 for 4. I think he had 2 doubles, 3 RBIs. I mean, that's a hell of a debut for Dayton. And our guy Ryan McChrystal goes 2 for 5, and he played a few games last year in Dayton. It wasn't a whole lot. I know he missed a little bit towards the end of the season with the concussion, but yeah, it was really cool seeing like the guys that kind of struggled last year kind of get out of the gates hot with Carlos Sanchez and Smith Pineda, and even Yerlin Confidant going 2 for 5. Like that was really cool to see.
Yeah, a guy that we profiled in our Dayton and Daytona profile, that Yerlin Confidant, where you at? Like the numbers and the body type weren't really matching up, at least in my opinion. And if he can hit, what is he hitting? 6th in the lineup and get a production of 2 out of 5 from Yerlin Confidant. He's playing center too. They have enough, confidence in him that they have Vu starting out there in left. I'm not exactly sure if that's where Vu is to end up once he gets maybe acclimated to Dayer Park or High A or what have you. I thought he would have been the starting center fielder, to be honest with you. But hey, if it works, he could be that leadoff guy, table setter. I mean, he seems to, like I said in the preview, reminds me a bit of Stephen Kwan. And if he's a leadoff hitter playing left field, that's kind of Kwan-esque and playing center as well at times. That bodes well, I think, for this organization. It's probably why, like you said, a Henley might not be getting promoted that quickly, is because Vu's in the way. They must like Confidant a lot. Smith Pineda had a good opening day, so there's a lot of now, outfield. A lot of guys kind of in there now, basically in the depth chart. That's hopefully a lot better.
Yeah, and Cole Schoenwetter gets the win. He goes 3 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, and he did give up a home run, but it was nice to see him kind of get going. And yeah, just Peyton Stovall, I think he went 1 for 4. Yeah, Carrick brings up in the chat Anthony Steffen. I don't know. Maybe they're just kind of feeling out a lot of these top prospect guys and just kind of seeing what they're doing. It's kind of hard because Alfredo Alcantara, he got off to a really hot start too, and I was kind of surprised to see him get called up too. I kind of figured he would, but it was just still kind of surprising with all the talent that's in the infield in the organization. I think some of us thought that there was a shot that Steele Hall would have started in Daytona, and that's such confusing going to Daytona to Dayton.
Yeah,
but you would think, because I think he's the only high school pick that didn't start in low A in the first round. The Reds are typically pretty slow in their high school guys. But yeah, Alcantara had a really good start to the season. But yeah, Anthony Steffen, he plays third base, infield, right? If I remember right.
And first, yeah. Yeah, there might just be not enough space for Steffen right now with the outfield the way it is, especially if Smith Pineda is going to play like that. They really seem to like Kian Vu. They've only played 2 games too, so we'll see what the opening day lineup is for the home opener lineup on Tuesday for the Dragons. I'd be interested. I mean, obviously, Carrick and I go back as forth as well that it's kind of interesting that McChrystal didn't play in the second game because we were thinking at the very least he has the option of playing catcher, first base, or DH, and that he should probably kind of get rotated to play almost every single day, maybe 5 out of the 6 games type of situation. So we'll see how it looks this week. They really, I think, want Duno to catch. At least that I would be my guess.
I think that's best for the whole organization because, not the forecast, but this is probably Tyler Stevenson's last season with the Reds unless something dramatic happens. But he's not having the greatest start. Although I think he did drive in a run today. But
we had that home run on Sunday, I believe that.
But there's not a whole lot of catching depth, and we're still a ways away from seeing Duno in Cincinnati. Yeah,
for sure. Moving on from the hitters, unless you got something on there, I wanted to highlight Nestor Laurent. He had a decent outing, 4 1/3 inning, 4 hits, 7 strikeouts, no walks. And that's good because we had also heard from Carrick that his velocity is up. And that is a good sign for Nestor Laurent, a guy we also previewed on the Daytona show a week ago, that he's kind of in a situation where he's got to show what he's got. I think he had like 2-10 with a 5.85 ERA in 2025. So not the greatest season at Dayton. Back at Dayton, maybe if he keeps pitching like this, he's got a chance at Chattanooga later in the year. Maybe not. We'll see. It's really promising. Only gave up the 1 earned run on the game that they lost, the second game, to the Lansing Lugnuts, but he looked great. So shout out to Nestor Laurent.
Yeah, and shout out to Drew Pesca also in that game. Through an inning and a third, 3 strikeouts. I think that was his Dayton debut also, I believe. He's just 21 years old. If I remember right, he was a late round pick in 23. Yeah, he was out of John A. Logan Junior College in Illinois. Funny enough, I am related to the founder of that college, but I think that was his Dayton debut.
Yeah.
So good for him. Really good outing. 3 strikeouts in an inning and a third is really good. So shout out him.
Yeah, 18th round pick is what you said. That's going deep. So decent outing out of him. So that's pretty cool. Anything else on pitching side for Dayton Dragons?
No, I was just really happy for Nestor Laurent to have that outing because he really struggled last year, and to have him, really show what he can be a really good pitcher. He doesn't have the fastest, blow it by you fastball, but if he can get his velocity up to 94, I mean, he's usually 88 to 92 typically, but if he could get it up to 93, 94 with some consistency, like his movement on his other pitches is so good. Like he could be really good if he gets that going.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. That'd be great. Although the thing about now, what was going to end up happening for at least the pitching rotation, since they had that rain out, that Reynaldo Cruz was supposed to pitch on last Saturday. Now he's pitching the home opener, and now we got our guy Luke Hayden is going to be pitching in his red uniform on the Wednesday game because they're to be debuting these new Reds. Or I don't know if it's right. It's all red uniform.
Red Dragon.
Red Dragon. Yeah, there you go. So that will be kind of cool to see, especially because he's a part of the promo in that. So check that out. Home opener for Dayton on Tuesday as well. So go out and support them. They hopefully will have a good showing out there, especially because there was a small little snippet of a interview that the local Dayton station did with Duno, saying like, "Hey, have you ever played in the cold weather?" He's like, "No, I've only played in Arizona, Venezuela, and California." This is like a total departure from everywhere else. So if there's anything, the reason why we have Dayton in our system is so that everyone can get used to that Cincinnati weather in April.
Yeah. Because what was it? Kian Vu in our interview said he played in Arizona State and he played in Daytona.
Yeah,
so in Texas,
San Diego.
right?
Yeah, he's from San Diego. He played in Texas, I think, a little bit too. So that's about it. So all right. Moving on to the Chattanooga Lookouts. They had 3 games and they looked pretty good. They won all 3 of their games against the Columbus, Georgia team. Having some comebacks, having some really nice performances from some guys, having some good pitching performances from some guys. So, like, I don't know exactly even where to start for Chattanooga because they seem to just They got a nice, table setter in Carlos Jorge, number 2 hitter, which may be their best hitter, Leo Balcazar, had a week. And then they got a contribution from a guy they just picked up this offseason, Xavier Warren, going 4 for 12 with a home run, 4 RBIs, 2 runs. Like that. I mean, Chattanooga, I didn't think was going to be this good this quickly.
They got some talent. They got a lot of talent.
They came out well, and they your guy Austin Hendrick also had a decent week too. So like, I don't know where you want to start. You want to start with the hitters or the pitching performances? I mean, we can go anywhere with this one.
Yeah, we can go chronological on this too. So we'll start with the opening game. Carlos Jorge leads the game off with a triple, and then Leo Balcazar hits a 2-run homer to bring him in. And then I think the pitching gave up 2 runs in the second inning. Then they gave up another run in the third, another run in the fifth. Offense kind of went stagnant through 2 through 7 innings. They scored 2 in the 8th on a Austin Hendricks single that scored Cam Collier and Trotwine. And then they go into the 9th, down 6-4, and our guy Michael Trotwine, it's just catching theme today. Goes out there, hits a grand slam to put the Lookouts on top. Just, man, that's good for him. Just because we're really curious on what the catching situation is going to be when Stevenson goes. But Troutwine getting that home run, opposite field too, I believe. Just really cool. And then pitching wise, I'm trying to remember who started that game.
Jose Acuna did not have the greatest of outings. He didn't give up a hit, but he had 6 walks and gave up.
That's
2
right,
runs.
yeah.
And not finding the plate, I guess is to say the least. The inning and 2/3, didn't make it out of the second, and just the bullpen kind of held up decently after that. I said Jared Lyons came in, Irvin Macheda, Jonathan Lavallee, anyway, and Taylor Floyd. Lavallee? That could be. I have to look up his pronunciation. Sorry to Jonathan.
If you just send us a DM on Instagram or something, we'll get it right.
Yeah, and they held it down. Also, Taylor Floyd getting the 9th inning.
Yeah, your guy T. Floyd.
Yeah, exactly. Which actually there's an update on Ty Floyd because he actually did a little rehab start, I believe, in Arizona, and is maybe possibly working his way back. Pitching off the mound again in live batting. So we'll see. We'll keep you updated on Ty Floyd as well and Taylor Floyd, both of them. But yeah, it was kind of an interesting game. It was back and forth, like a game of runs, and luckily we had enough offense out of this Chattanooga team. I mean, also shout out your guy Austin Hendrick went 3 for 5 on that day, so with 2 RBIs. So he came up big in a big way for Chattanooga Lookouts. They seem to have a pretty exciting team. I didn't think that maybe Carlos Jorge got promoted from Dayton, didn't have the greatest season at Dayton, had a decent winter league, but this might click for Carlos Jorge. Maybe now being up at AA and being alongside Leo and Cam. And big Ruben Ibarra and Michael Trotwine, maybe this will get him back on track and back to where that like top 15 prospect type of situation that we saw a couple years back.
Yeah, because we had a lot of hype for Carlos Jorge a couple years ago, and he, I don't want to say fell out of favor, but just hasn't really performed since getting to Dayton 2 years ago, halfway through the season, and then last year just. Now for the season this year, he's batting .385 with a .967 OPS. Leo Balcazar, .455, a 1.318 OPS. Collier's kind of struggling out the gate. It's kind of expected, just getting used to AA pitching again. He didn't play a whole lot in AA last year. He made it up there in June, July, I think. I think is what it was, because he had a couple of rehab starts. He got back healthy in May. And then he went to the ACL for a couple games. And then he went to Dayton for a few games. And then eventually got called up to Chattanooga. But, Xavier Warren going, batting .333 to start the year out for us. Sasaki, batting .333 with a .929 OPS to start the year. And then our guy, Austin Hendrick, man, batting .500 with a .1250 OPS. Just, I was thinking about something too about him. If he's performing and we're having issues at the major league level, and I'm not saying you're going to call up Hendrick. I'm working my way around to this. The way Hines is playing and the way some of the outfielders on the major league level are performing, like I think we see Hendrick in AAA fairly soon. I don't know if it's going to be the next month or two, but I think it's going to be by the midpoint of the season.
Okay. All right. Not bad. Not bad. And Carrick's pointing out Jorge had a pretty decent second half to 2025 that he thinks he hit almost over 300. And you also just shouted out Shane Sasaki. That's another offseason pickup like Xavier Warren, already contributing right away like Xavier Warren to the AA team, which is great to see. I think also Nate Peterson, I think he might have been a Rule 5 draft guy if I'm remembering right, unless I'm mixing him up with someone else. But anyway, he ended up getting added to this AA team, and I think he had an outing or two this past week. So like I said, AA starting to churn out at least performances. We'll see. It's still early, obviously 3 games in. There's a lot to go and obviously mix lineups, change things up and everything like that. And we'll see what it ends up looking like a month from now, a couple weeks from now. But for right now, it's looking pretty decent. And there was one performance of pitching I wanted to shout out. Kevin Abel went 5 innings. He had 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, but he gave up no hits. So like Kevin Abel is a guy I possibly watch strike, with his control a little bit. But if he's not going to give up any hits or get hit hard, we'll take that.
Yeah, I was going to shout out Nick Sando for the same thing.
Yeah.
He goes 4 innings in I think it was a rain shortened game on Sunday.
Right.
4 innings. I just went away. 4 innings, 2 hits, 6 walks, 5 strikeouts, but 2 hits, no earned runs in that outing. And then Montero goes an inning, has a walk. But I mean, Sando's only 25. Some guys just take a little longer than some guys. Like it happens. I think we're probably going to see Jonathan Harmon here pretty soon, right? Is he going to be a starter? Is that the plan for him?
I think so. That's my understanding too. The starters that obviously we have Abel, we got the guy you just mentioned, Sando, probably Harmon. The thing about Chattanooga and Daytona, they don't really put out their lineups too quickly.
Yeah,
you're always
at all.
chasing. You're always chasing to see who their starter. Dayton Dragons are pretty good about it. Like I said, Ronaldo Cruz is starting on Tuesday with actually JP Ortiz on Wednesday, and then Luke Hayden on Thursday. I got that mixed up. So they put their starters out there and get them going, which credit to them. We appreciate it, at least for our content and stuff, and talking about it and putting that out, the lineups and everything. But anyway, I would imagine I got to look at the roster again for Chattanooga. I'm pretty sure Harmon's going to be one of the 5 starters at very least. I'm sure Carrick's going to chime in about a minute.
They scored 25 runs in those 3 games. That's incredible.
That's crazy. Yeah. Even big Ruben Ibarra got a double on Saturday in the 13-7 win. I mean, it must be that Vargas thing, like Alexander Vargas bringing the winning streak from Dayton up to Chattanooga, right? Like they finished
guy
18 out of 19.
They need to bring him up to the Reds, man. They might not ever lose.
Might as well. Any other thoughts on Chattanooga? I think I had everybody picked out. Austin Hendrick as well. Do you want any more to say? He went, like you said, 6 for 12, 3 runs, 5 RBIs, and a home run and a win. And that was the game on yesterday, the shortened game. He had the home run. So
the thing with him, I'm not too worried about his batting average. If he can just cut the strikeouts down, I feel confident. I think this is probably the last season of control for him, for the Reds. Whether or not he leaves, comes back on another minor league deal or whatever it may be, this is kind of going to be the year they're going to have to see what he is, if they're ever going to pursue a future with him, which is unfortunate, but sometimes it just doesn't work out.
Yeah, and he was like Rule 5 eligible, I think, for that this year. But I don't think anyone's going to be taking any flyers on him at this point. So, it'll be kind of interesting to see what his future holds and what baseball's future looks like in 2027 as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things happening. December 2nd, 2026. There's going to be lots of things happening in terms of major league, minor league impact, we'll be covering it. That's at least the one thing you can depend on. We'll be there covering whatever's happening with the CBA, whatever's happening on the major league level impact of it, and the minor leagues. So we'll hopefully have good news to share more than bad news.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else about the Lookouts? They're going to have their home opener soon, not this Tuesday, but I believe the 14th. So it'd be next Tuesday. Open up Erlanger Park, or is that the old stadium?
Erlanger's Chattanooga.
Yeah, this was I was talking about. They're going to open up.
Oh,
open up their brand new park, Erlanger, in about 8 days. So look out for that. Go support Chattanooga. Nice new brand new stadium. I think AT&T was the old stadium.
It is, yeah. AT&T was the old stadium.
I was afraid I was calling it the old stadium name for some reason. Like Miller Park or Minute Maid or something like that. So, but anyway,
I still call it Miller Park.
Yeah, exactly. And basically, that used to be old. What's it called? Oh, man, Milwaukee County Stadium. So there's even an older name for Miller Park than just anyway. Not a Brewers podcast.
Riverfront, synergy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But anyway, moving on to the Louisville Bats, the AAA team. They started out hot, and everyone was talking about how they're the best AAA team out there and everything like that. And that was nice to say because it gives you confidence because these guys are possibly legitimate major leaguers, right?
Yeah, you got legitimate major league talent on that roster.
Like JJ Bleday is down in the minors, right? And you got a guy like Tolia that could possibly give you major league at bats as well on this team, and the Reese Hines of it all as well, and plus other guys out there that we're gonna talk about in a little bit. But the Iowa Cubs are a pretty decent AAA team as well. I think they have the Cubs' number 2 prospect Jackson Wiggins pitched against us this week, and they ran into kind of a gauntlet because they went after going 3-0, I believe, in their first series. Louisville lost 5 out of 6 to the Iowa Bats, and it looked so pretty at times, especially for our pitching department. I don't know if you want to start there or the hitting. The hitting was pretty decent. It was an offensive series, to say the least, for both teams. Not necessarily the prettiest pitching out there for the AAA clubs, but yeah, like H-Rod had a decent week, and we're also got a guy that had a Player of the Week from the International League as well, even though that he lost 5 out of 6 games. Maybe that doesn't factor into the voting or whatnot, but yeah, even like our guys Aguiar and Petty got really roughed up, and it wasn't pretty for that. So, but yeah, where do you want to take this? The Louisville Bats and their not so great week.
Yeah, the offense kind of fizzled out over the last few games. Sunday they scored 2 runs. Saturday they scored 6, but it was in a 6-inning game. It was kind of unfortunate to see the outings from Aguiar and Petty, just because of the high they had in their first outing. Petty goes 4 2/3, 8 strikeouts, just 1 walk, and then Aguiar follows that up with a really good outing. I think he had a run. I think if he had a run,
yeah.
And then just to follow that up with just a clinker, it was just. I'd hate to say it, but just same old Chase Petty, just what it's been last year. And I don't think he's that guy this year. I really don't. He looked really confident in the spring breakout game. He looked just as confident, if not more confident, in the opening game. Like you said, Iowa's a really good team. A lot of good prospects on that Chicago team. And, it happens, and it's just unfortunate that it happened after a really good start for both of them. But shout out to Reese Hines, obviously. Shout out to Blake Dunn, who's been off to an incredible start to start the year. He's batting .394 with a .997 OPS. Edwin Arroyo kind of fizzled down a little bit in the last couple games, but he had I think a 3-hit game a game or two ago. He's batting .257, and he's putting balls in the air, and that's what I want to see out of him. And then obviously JJ Bleday has been on fire. .333 average, a 1079 OPS. Michael Chavis has been a really big surprise. I tweeted a video of him yesterday. He's got 3 home runs this year. He could be a sneaky, depth piece for the infield, barring an injury for somebody. Obviously, it'd have to be a roster move to add him to the 40-man, but he could be a sneaky move. And then CES, I'm kind of concerned. I know he has a couple home runs, but he struck out 3 times on Sunday. OPS is below 700 to start 9 games in. Kind of concerning just because he's hit so well in the minor leagues as a career up to this point. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to take everything from you, but
no.
But it's just unfortunate. And one thing to note, and I'm sure we can talk about this, is Reese Hines has been playing center field every game.
I did notice that. Yeah, that's interesting. He did play it in right field on the game I'm looking at here. The opener against Iowa, where they lost 12-7. Arroyo had his 3-hit game, and that's where Petty got shelled. 7 earned runs. Another more just as concerning thing is Aguiar got beat up the next day after that, giving up, I believe, 4 home runs. So that's just kind of like getting the ball in the air. These guys are not keeping it, in the park, keeping it low, getting strikeouts, getting guys to swing and miss. That's kind of the interesting thing, because that was what Petty was doing the breakout game, and then his first start, just swing and misses, finding the strike zone, heavy amount of strikes. And it seemed like both of those two guys, maybe they just have to flush it, maybe they just got to work on some stuff, figure it out, watch the tape, and maybe there's some other things that they're giving away that's possibly the situation. I don't know exactly. It's definitely interesting to see the offense from Louisville Bats has not slowed down since game 1. Now the pitching obviously wasn't as great, but they lost 11-12 on the second game with a bunch of guys just going off. Like you said, Michael Chavis, his 3 home runs were 3 home runs just this week. It was just this 6-game series he went off. And then even Blake Dunn is kind of come alive as the table setter. And I'm not trying to put this out there to say that I think we talked about this maybe before on a different show, that he could be the TJ Friedel replacement maybe down the road. Set the table as a leadoff hitter, play left field or center.
Or at minimum a bridge to get to, a Kian Vu, or maybe they move Tyson Lewis to center field or something like that. But really they had 3 bad outings in a row. Davis Daniel went 3 2/3, 5 earned runs the game after Aguiar. So he gave up 2 home runs in those innings. Andrew Chafin has been a wild card. He what do you have, 4 walks the other game, but didn't allow a run. He still hasn't allowed a run to this point. Same with our guy Trevor Kunsel. Has been really good in AAA. I
got his numbers here. 0 ERA, 4 2/3 innings, 5 strikeouts. Every appearance out there, clean innings, and that's great to see out a guy that was triple or AA, all-star, now just continuing to build on that success.
Yeah, and with the struggles from Luis May and Zach Maxwell, he keeps this up, he could be that next guy up for bullpen depth. I think he makes the team before the All-Star break, if I had to put a guess. I think if he keeps this up, obviously he's not going to not give up a run every game, which he could, but let's be real. He's probably going to allow a run to some point, but if he keeps up this pace, I think he could be. And I'm not just saying this because we have a relationship with the guy, but I genuinely think his talent translates to a major league bullpen. He's been a closer most of his minor league career to this point. He's played, hasn't been closing in AAA just because of Maxwell and May, but when I talked to him after the opening game, he said he was, treats every game like it's the 9th inning, which it's a good mentality to have if you're a closer. And, if, you come in to a 3-2 game in the 7th inning, you got to treat it like it's a 9th inning. And I like that mentality out of him. And he's still young enough to where he could have a pretty lengthy major league career also.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I made this comparison before. He doesn't have the exact pitch repertoire that and Pagan has the current closer for the Reds, Emilio Pagan, but he seems to have that mentality, and that is that could probably carry you a longer way than just having the 105 blow away stuff.
Yeah.
If you're locating your pitches and you're just going out there with that competitive mentality just to get 3 outs, man, like that's the job every single time, and that's something that we've seen him continuing to do. Even also the Arizona Fall League where he pitched pretty well. You know what I mean? He's just continuing to build on his successes, and that could carry you a long way. And like Carrick points out, AAA's starting, 5 was supposed to be elite, but when the big club calls and they need to call up some reinforcements, you know what I mean? Jose Franco's up there now. Brian Williamson's up there. Lauder's up there. All those guys are probably, at one point, possibly going to be on Louisville to start the season. Maybe not for long, but at least be there at the start of the year. But that's the thing. If things break your way, it could be a situation, like you said, before the All-Star break, Trevor Kunsel's being called upon because they need that. And you take an example like Phillips and his, how he had to go all the way back down to the ACL to learn to pitch and where he's come from in such a short time. It's not outside the realm of possibility, like you said, that he gets called upon. And that'd be awesome to see. And I think it'd be perfect for just encapsulating his story to kind of have put like that cherry on top of where he's come from independent ball, from learning to pitch in college. We'd love to see it.
Yeah, it's an awesome story. And like I said, I'm not just saying this because we have a relationship. He is genuinely talented enough to pitch in Cincinnati, I think right now, but just giving him the experience of AAA with, really good major league caliber pitching in that staff in Louisville. Just it's pretty awesome to see. I love it.
Yeah, for sure. And he's put in the work too.
Yeah.
Not just talented, but he's been really working hard behind the scenes, just like all these guys are as well. But like, you know what I mean? He's obviously, you can see the results of his hard work coming through right now from where he started at the beginning of 2025 to now. So yeah, shout out Trevor. Did want to shout out also like H-Rod, Hector Rodriguez had a pretty decent week. He had 2 home runs, 5 for 22, 6 runs, 3 RBIs. Pretty decent week for him to start off, especially because he's one of those prospects that they're on the 40 man that he could be called up as well. Like, I mean, they're all talking about possibly, unfortunately for your guy Marte and TJ Friedel, they're really struggling right now. Well, who's going to be that next guy to come up and play the outfield? Could be JJ Bidet, could be Reese Hines, could be Hector. You never know.
Could be. I think our guy that we're going to talk about here pretty soon, I think he deserves to be the next guy up, and I think he deserves to get a legitimate long-term opportunity. We can talk about him, a prospect of the week, Reese Hines, 1329 OPS, a 382 average, 4 home runs, 14 RBIs. That's double of the next leader on the team. He's also second in runs scored with 9. So he's not only driving in runs, he's scoring runs.
Yeah.
And he's got 13 hits, tied with the team lead. Like every category, you're seeing him at the top or near the top. Tied for the league in tied for the lead in triples. Just really, really cool to see from him. Just how good he's been, and like we said, he deserves a legitimate shot to play every day. And I don't know if he gets it, but with how Friedel's been playing and the lack of playing time and production from Marte, I think it's time.
Yeah, it feels like deja vu all over again, because we were talking about Reese Hines killing it out the start this time last year, and Benson, right? And we were getting this situation where we had Jacob Hurtubise and Blake Dunn that were not doing too well at the big league club in 2025. But now it's kind of, again, Reese Hines again showing them what he can do. And I was just trying to figure out like his advanced stats, and he's been hitting the ball pretty hard. I mean, like obviously from the stats that you said, like his 2026 numbers are just off the charts in terms of the hard hit percentage and whatnot. Like it just begs the question of will he and when he gets his opportunity is he going to be able to stick around? That's the biggest thing I guess I've been mulling around in my head. And I'd like to think that he's going to get an opportunity. You've said on this show a bunch of times, Ricky, that he's got those reverse splits, and we have kind of seen Marte get in some weird situations where he's going up against left-handers and he doesn't hit left-handers really well. So it's kind of, are they going to do the kind of same thing with Rhys Hines? I don't know. I guess once he gets called up, we can answer those questions and everything. But I guess my question to you is he going to get this opportunity and when?
Yeah, my favorite part about this whole thing with Hines is that his walk percentage is over double of what it was last year, and his strikeout percentage is cut in half. So he's not striking out, he's walking more, and he's just hitting the ball hard. If you were to go by some more, his WRC plus is 228. Like he's 128% better than league average in AAA.
Wow. Okay.
Just incredible. I think it's time. I think, and obviously I don't think they're going to sit Friedel or send down Friedel, but I would love to see an outfield of Benson, Myers, and Hines just for a stretch, just to see what they have. Myers has played really well. Benson's played really well defensively, and you have your splits with him. You can sit him versus lefties, but I want to see Hines play.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, you don't call a guy up who's playing every single day just to sit him on the bench, right? Just in terms of baseball philosophy, baseball logic. If you need like a guy like Marte, or you need Friedel to work on some things, or maybe just retool or figure out some things at Louisville, so be it. Well, whoever it ends up being, right? Maybe there's an injury that happens that opens up the door to Rhys Hines, but like he's not coming up to play once every 3 games, right? Like it's got to be something where he's in the lineup. Maybe just DH. I don't know exactly. He's definitely got a strong arm that you've talked about a lot on this show, which you want that type of situation, especially if you're, maybe you put Steer at DH instead, right? When you have a little bit more plus outfielder in Rhys Hines in left field, possibly, or something like that. We'll see what it all shakes out when he gets called up and what the lineup ends up being and what the team kind of looks like. But yeah, if you're going to call him up, you got to play him. It can't be the 45 at bats that he got in 2025 type of situation. And it seemed like as soon as he got called up, it felt like a couple weeks later he was done.
Yeah, it is just unfortunate because you look at the way he's playing right now, and he's just 25, and like I said, having a strikeout percentage down at 21.4%, his walk percentage is up at 16.7. For context, last year in the major league level, his strikeout percentage was 47.7%, and his walk percentage was 2.3. Now, he did cut that down in AAA last year, 25.9% strikeout percentage and a 7.6% walk percentage. But, I mean, you're seeing improvement from AAA last year to AAA this year with him, and I think that translates.
Yeah, for sure. Also want to shout out Blake Dunn, like I talked about a little bit early in the show, had a great week as well, and I see him as a really decent table setter, and maybe a situation like Benson and Hines were hitting really well at the gate. You promote both of them at the same time and give Dunn and Rhys Hines a chance at the major league level. I think
they've got 3 outfielders that could all 3 play major league outfield. Like you could have an outfield of Dunn, Hines, and Blade, and that's a really good outfield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at the major league level for sure. And it seems like Hector's on the odd man out and all this.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because he's really good.
Yeah, well, luckily he's got time on his side, only just being 21 years of age. I think just turned 22. So he's got some time. But anyway, the point being is that these guys could come up, and the offense has been good enough. They've been getting these 1-run wins, and that's kind of exactly how Tito kind of draws it up. But sometimes you want to have a little bit more offense just in case the pitching isn't there, just in case there's a situation where I don't know, Abbott gives up 5 or 6 runs, right? Or like he kind of had that struggle. Or Brandon Williamson had a struggle his last time out. But not tonight though. Shout out Brandon Williamson.
Yeah, they won 2-0.
There you go. Just how Tito wrote it up. That two runs is too many. I think it should just settled for anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, having those guys in your farm system makes you that just more dangerous. I know they went 1-5 this week, but it wasn't because of the offense, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't because of the guys hitting. They were crushing the ball, and Reese Hines and Blake Dunn were leading the pack for the to say the least.
Yeah, Blake Dunn, a 177 WRC plus. So not Reese Hines level, but man, he's 77% better than league average right now. Just incredible.
And I think he came out of camp having a little bit of a tweak or something like that. So
he kind of hyperextended his knee, I think, right? And we were kind of concerned because it looked ugly. I think we were all fearing worse with that, just thinking that torn something, But good for him. He's one that I'll admit I kind of fell out of favor with last year. Just I didn't feel like him and Jacob Hurtubise really deserved that spot over Hines last year, just based off of Hines' 24 season. But I mean, he was minor league player of the year in 2023, right?
Yep.
So he's you got to remember he's still just 27, really good talent, and you said he's built like a football player. So I mean, he's really fast. Even if you treat him like a Dane Myers and you have him as a platoon center fielder kind of guy, I think that could work out for him too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm really high on Blake Dunn because he spent all 2025, a lot of 2025, especially the back half, just hitting and working on his craft and stuff like that. And yeah, for him to have that hyperextended knee situation, and now he's fine and going out there and hitting really well. Maybe it's the football player side of him of just like, well, it's just my knee. I'll be fine. You know what I mean?
All right.
Yeah, so at least we got that going for our AAA team. Just got to get the pitching back on track. They start out Petty again takes the mound on Tuesday, I want to say, which would be great. Playing against Indianapolis. They're going to be in Indianapolis traveling. And then Wednesday we got Aguiar again, Davis Daniel, kind of the usual setup. I'm guessing it's going to be the usual 5 they go through. I'm forgetting the other guys now, but anyway. We'll hopefully get back on track this week, pitching wise.
Yeah, hopefully. I think the Indians are 2-7 to start the year out. They had Connor Griffin, I believe, to start the year. Now they don't, so maybe their offense isn't going to be as potent as it could have been. Give a quick shout out to the Pirates, I guess.
What's funny? It's like because of where I live, close to Dayton. For some reason, I get channels out of Dayton and Columbus or something like that because I was watching the Columbus Clippers play against Indianapolis Indians this weekend, all 3 games, and I was pretty impressed by Indianapolis because they won, I think 7-3 or something like that on Sunday and everything like that. So it may be another formidable test for the Louisville Bats. So it'd be interesting to see how they bounce back after having kind of a rough week pitching wise. I'd like to see them go back out there and get it done, especially our the top of the rotation with Aguiar and Petty going on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, I'll make a prediction and say Petty's going to go 5 innings and 2 runs. I think he's going to bounce back.
Yeah, I want to see less home runs for sure coming out of these guys.
And that's
stat lines. You know what I mean?
Especially with Aguiar. I think he gave up 4 home runs that game. So yeah, we can tone them down just a little bit because I still believe in Aguiar being a quality, back of the rotation guy at the major league level. And granted, our back of the rotation right now is kind of carrying us at the major league level with the way Louder, Burns, and Williamson today have pitched. I think they've each allowed 2 runs or less their last 3 games. So really cool to see that too.
Yeah. Big matchup tomorrow. Andrew Abbott versus Sandy Alcantara in the game 2 of the Miami series tomorrow.
Be a good game.
That'll be a pretty good game. 2 aces going out there. I believe Alcantara had like a 9-inning Maddox last time he was pitching last week. So yeah, so that'll be a stiff test for our batters. Too bad Reese Hines can't get called up for tomorrow to go out there, but
he might. You never know. The off day, he might.
Yeah, it might. Oh, anyway, any other things about Reese Hines or Louisville or going forward for these 4 affiliates?
No, just I think if we're gonna want to see, these guys in Louisville, we'll have to get to a game soon, and same with Dayton. We're gonna have to get down there soon to see Duno and McChrystal and Vu, 2 guys that we've have a relationship with, and one that we would like to have a relationship with, and Duno. But yeah, I mean, just overall, I'm just really excited about this farm system. I think Baseball America just listed us in the top 10.
BR report.
Okay, that one. That's what it was. Yeah. I forget which one it was. Yeah. So they listed us in the top 10 in prospects. So, hey, I mean, that's pretty cool to be recognized because, Stewart's, I think he's officially off of that now, right? Because Duno is officially the number 1 prospect. So to be in the top 10 with Stewart off that list is pretty good.
Yeah, Baseball America is kind of a bit of a bunch of haters.
They're pretty stingy. That's just like
18.
ESPN.
Yeah. they got us, I think, at 18 for Baseball America. I don't know who's ahead of us, really. But the crazy thing about that Bleacher Report list is like NL Central team. NL Central is like Brewers. It's like Cardinals. It's the Pirates. And then
they must be like from like Milwaukee or like, I don't know, Detroit or something, where they just favor the Central teams.
Possibly. I didn't think the Cardinal system was that good, but maybe I'm not watching Cardinals baseball that much. I have seen their recent prospects not really pan out, but that's not current prospects.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but not a Cardinals podcast, but the Guardians are always top 10. That's it. I think they have some staples. I think they usually keep the Brewers. They keep, like the Guardians, the Dodgers. Like those are like notoriously good systems, whether they're maybe as good as they say they are or not. I don't know. We can debate that, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, anything else you got coming out, Ricky, out of Reds on SI? Any articles or anything like that?
I wrote on Reese Hines winning player of the week and what TJ Friedel's struggles may mean for that. And then other than that, just kind of going with the flow. Nothing really scheduled yet, but I'll have some stuff coming.
Yeah, for sure. We'll maybe get a prospect to know, get that going. Maybe get a recorded one sometime soon. So keep your eye out for that. May do a recorded recap because we didn't do a show on Easter. We took that day off for rest and whatnot. But we're glad that you guys came out and watched us on Minor League Monday. It's good. All 4 affiliates are going to play 6 games this week, weather permitting. So we're going to have a lot to talk about next Monday. And hopefully it'll be lots of good things, lots of wins, lots of good pitching performances at the very least. But yeah, if you got nothing else, Ricky, go Reds.
Go Reds.